Just looking at Etsy again, saying flaming wine rack worth $300. It's only more recycled pallet wood from the same place I told you guys about before with teak stain over it. Bloody hell. But what's even weirder is this thing. Look at that. That is a bicycle wine rack made out of leather. That's basically a bit of old leather belt that's been cut and had a few studs put on it. And that's right, that's supposed to hold a wine bottle on your bicycle. Now, what's the chances that the end on the left there is just going to pop out and the thing's just going to hit the ground and go straight against the ground, the road, as you're riding, or go around a corner or something? I don't know how that's actually supposed to hold in. I really honestly don't. It's just strange. Okay, don't know if you can hear it. This has been going on for 10-15 minutes now, and it's at about, well, what is it, 18 past 1 in the morning? Had a decent bit of thunder and lightning out the front here. See it flash through my bedroom window. We are getting a decent amount of bloody rain. I'm talking quite a lot. Reasonably heavy. I've seen it heavier. One time when I was fixing this place up, we had basically flash flood where we got a stack of hail, the valley gutter blocked with hail, then so much rain after it that the rain couldn't drain out of the gutter because of the amount of hail stones blocking the damn gutter. So it got to the point that it actually overflowed inside the valley gutter in between the two gable parts of the roof of the house and flowed down in the walls inside. The LED light system, I never have actually put a fuse on it, although recently I bought a fuse holder to solder in to the system. So instead of have that short out if this valley gutter does overflow, as it did back in 2010, well, yeah, basically I pulled them out of their little cigarette lighter plug socket, so we ain't going to risk anything there. The main 12-volt lines won't be affected because of where they're placed, but the little switch in the kitchen for the kitchen LED lights and the bathroom LED lights, if this really goes bonkers, it might overflow onto that and short out from there, so I've unplugged it from its cigarette lighter plug, so it ain't gonna do anything to the main batteries. And yeah, at some point we're going to have to solder in that fuse, and I didn't think it'd be in the middle of summer. Anyway, it seems to be backing off. Oh, just a little bit. No, just I'm tired. I've heard it go heavier, but it's reasonably heavy, so... Anyway, I think we might be getting our flaming 10 or 20 mil in one rain session. I hope so. It's just starting to sort of lose its pace now a bit. You really like that black kitty? A tabby cat here. He doesn't like being picked up. I pick him up and then he gets a bit funny when I go to pet him, but I haven't been picking him up the last couple of days, and now he's fine. He's a big cat now, ain't you, bud, hey? Look at you, you're flipping 2.5 foot long, it looks like. You're probably only about 2 foot long, but a big fat pussy now. This black kitty's starting to gain the weight a little bit too. Just in the sense of not looking like skin and bone. Hey, you're a big cat now, aren't you, honey? You got bigger since you got spayed, I'm flipping certain of it. Loves rubbing on the side of the face. All these lot are all banging and crashing, ain't you, hey? Anyway, it's finally started raining. Didn't just sort of get going, it sort of backed off a little bit, but it didn't just sort of die off again. Holy smoke, we've had a bit. It looks half bloody washed away out here. Yeah. Holy smoke. Get out of me feet, damn it. Oh, he's going to run against me legs. Yeah. Oh, fortunately, the damn thing stayed upright. I can tell there's going to be puddles all down the driveway. We're going to get a... Holy fuck, man, the arse. That was on a slight lean. That we're looking at about 35.5 mil. Holy fucking cow. That's... Well, there's an inch anyway. More than an inch and 3/8. Shit. I've never actually seen that full. Well, that, my friends, is going to make up for the almost exactly double what they got in the city. Now, I'm going to be able to see more scrap metal because it gets washed, and all this is just old bits of like grass seeds and minced up bits of grass that have been, and that sort of washes it into pools, and then you have your black soil all exposed again. And yeah, I tell you what, that, fuck me, I knew it was raining, but not that much. I mean, you know, it would have gone. Stop knocking me fucking legs. Jeez, you annoy me some days, cat. Would have gone on for, what was it, 1:17 or something. I fired the camera up. No, it was still going to blimmin' 6 AM at least, if not more, if not like, you know, 7 or something like that. You had a real issue trying to rub your face against me legs, haven't you, bud? Stupid cat. You're a friendly cat, but a bit too friendly sometimes. I'm not going to show it because, to be honest, I've got no pants on. Oh. Anyway, bite me fucking toes. God, you're being stupid. Yeah, you sort of get that strange look where there's been sort of all the movement of everything, you know, everything's sort of, all the little fine bits of grass are all pulled up there as the water's filled up. It's obviously all drained away again. This big pile of dry grass and cypress pits and somebody busting to be patted. Anyway, that's a kettle and I better get that. I think that might answer the mystery about the cats meowing and Black Kitty being hungry and everything like that. They're not really into eating cooked sheep. I think the kittens have a go at it. As this one almost is. See, I used to have like cooked sheep fat I threw on one time, didn't flame and touch it, and all this mince, a lot of that. I mean, I had a bunch that went down yesterday that was sort of pretty much cooked. Some of it was still a little bit sort of reddish. they ate that. And this stuff I continue to cook and got it a nice brown. And the idea was, I assumed they didn't like sheep fat, and I was trying to melt all the fat out that I could by cooking it. And it turns out it's not that, they just don't like cooked meat. Is that right, little kitty? Little pussy? You're all black, aren't you? So, that might have been a mistake to cook it. So anyway, you learn these things, and there is so much blasted mince left in my fridge that's sheep mince from the bandsaw, let alone chicken mince, let alone hearts, kidneys and liver, lungs, kidneys and spleens. I've never seen, like, I didn't think I'd see a black kitty tearing right into blooming sheep meat like that, with hacking right into it because it's got a bit of sinew in it and she's churning into it anyway. But anyway, in the well, I mean, eating rabbits, she's going to have done the same thing. You know, they're definitely a bit of a chew because you got to get through the blooming skin and everything. Dad and the identical little kitten beside him. Stop growling at your mama, little black kitty. That's the rah cat. Oh, the black kittens. Rah. Alrighty. I was looking again on Etsy last night and I realised there's a bunch of stuff I went to scrap metal the other day that you could have bloody well sold. I've got a set of harrows out there and there's a hook that's off some sort of a horsey sort of a thing. There's just a hook with 2 old rusted bolts through it. $20. Now the idea is that you'd probably go and chop the bolts out and use the hook as a clothes hook or something like that. $20, you know, and I had these old tubs that were literally out of the Depression. Tony will know exactly what I'm talking about. Plenty of you guys probably will. I'm sure the French viewers will. It's basically an old sheet metal tub thing. I don't know how else to say it. And that rusted away, but the handles were still laying there. Fully galvanised, perfect. You probably saw those handles for about $10 each. I chucked 2 of them the other day into scrap metal and made a total of $2.50 off the entire bloody load. So I was sort of pissed that I realised a few of these things I'm throwing out are probably good. There's a whole stack of other things I realised I could make. Like they've got, well, you know, clothes racks and stuff like that. You know, and they're literally got bolts like that. That's actually 2 bolts there I pulled out this morning. Absolutely identical. And they'll have like 4 bolts or 6 bolts or whatever against a frame basically made out of not a frame, like a backing made out of a bit of this stuff put through a planer. And some of it is rather thin, like only about that thick. So if you run a circular saw down the centre or something like that, or even split it correctly with an axe, you get 2 bits. You know, if you run a circular saw through this and plane it, there's, well, at least 2. It would be 4 if we didn't have the big holes in the centre there. But that's been some sort of a pretty heavy duty post or something else has gone in. You can even see the marks where they bored it through with the borer. They would have done one there and one there, and then you try to chisel in to there, or try and even get a saw blade into there, which usually doesn't really work unless you got like one of those, like a little jab saw, or which doesn't have, like, you know, you just got the saw blade and there's very little. It's not like a big heap of sheet metal with saw blade on it. It's only like a little short one. I've got one that I used to use for plastering, and the other one is like a little scroll saw sort of a thing that you could get in there, or some sort of a keyhole saw, you know, but yeah, it's interesting to see. You can still see the ripples of the blooming, where the tooling was that they originally made that one with. That post's newer, that one's newer. All these are from the 1920s, along with a lot of other ones. But this sort of basically got stuff that's only probably about, yeah, not even as thin as that. I had a good example the other day that was, yeah, probably about that thin and sort of curved. And, yeah, it's like a piece that had separated from the rest of the post or something. And yeah, stuff like that with bolts in it, you know, and I could make stuff like that, and the prices, I might not have to get a job ever again, you know, when you're seeing the prices on some of these things. So, like, I'll be honest with you, some of them are $150. Actually, most of them are $150, and there's some other things that people had made up that they just let the head go, and some of these are genuine vintage nightstands, like a little table that sits beside your bed that has your alarm clock and your keys and you know, maybe a little drawer with contraceptives of a kind or whatever you want to put in the damn thing, handkerchiefs, whatever. And some of these guys actually had genuine vintage ones from the 1800s that they'd refurbish and sell for $3,000. Holy fucking cow. There's a whole heap of that sort of stuff that we had some very old furniture. Got boar in it, my father went crazy and just fucking smashed the whole lot up. And this stuff was really classic stuff, and it literally was from the 1800s guaranteed, because it had my great-grandparents' stuff in there, papers that they'd written for the, well, you know, buying all the materials for the house that they had built that my grandparents lived in, you know, and the receipt for all those materials and the water tank and all, you know, and those receipts and all that were in this furniture, and this furniture was literally from the 1800s. Oh, I got boar in it. Oh, that's no good. Smashed it all up. I couldn't fucking believe it. And I said, holy smoke, that's worth something. Oh, yeah, but it's got boar in it. Yeah, but even with boar in it, you can get the damn stuff fumigated professionally, and it may stop the borer, and then have what parts have been infected with the borer replaced from there, you know. And some of these things, like I've seen fire pits that very, you know, decorative sort of stuff. I know how they do it too. It's with a plasma cutter. Well, the CSR would have probably used that sort of stuff himself, but I've seen some other stuff done with a plasma cutter, and there's been a computerised plasma cutter. I think they claim to have done it by hand, but how they do it is they'd stencil the damn thing and then do it, line up with the stencil. A couple of $1,000, you know. And, yeah, some of these things I think are too high priced. But other things, when you see, you know, 20 different things from 20 different places, all with $150 on it, you sort of get the general idea that maybe I should join the game too. You know what I'm saying? Don't just stand there and go, holy smoke, this is crazy. Get on board and make money out of it. And I might not need to go and get a friggin' real job if this thing was to take off, but I think I might be able to go back to doing what I had at the piggery sort of thing, which was just work 20 hours a week sort of thing, or 25 hours a week, and then spend the rest of your time making that sort of stuff. It depends how much you can sell, you know, it really does depend on that. Anyway, I am always surprised the more I look into that and find sometimes they sell a little bit of wood, like a little triangle of wood, and you get obviously somewhere where a screw sits in it, and then like a bloomin' old door handle stuck out the front, and you hang your coat off that. You know, $50. You know, it's like, holy frickin' cow, it's just an old brass door handle. You know, I've thrown them in scrap metal too. Hell, I could rip the one off my door and replace it with a brand new one that I've got in the packet that was bought in the 70s and never flipping used because my front door was about to collapse. And how's this? I never knew this was here. I'm just pulling this up. Thought I'd turn the camera on before I pulled it up, and you beauty, I think, by the ripples and the look in that, that would be an angry mole cricket. By the ripples and the look in that, I've seen stuff like this previously. I'm pretty sure that's cast iron. I've got one edge cracked off. Just give it a little drop. Yeah, pretty certain it's World of CSR. Is that cast iron? It bloody feels like it, just the vibration in it, the way it doesn't feel like mild steel anyway. Anyways, I'm just about certain it is anyway by the ripples on the back, because I've seen this sort of stuff before. But that's a beauty. There's a bit of cast iron there. You know, if I've got a welder on that, and you could use and possibly gave it a bloody good clean up with a wire brush and a cordless drill. You could use that as something to put your pots on, and like a giant bloody hot plate on a wood stove of some improvised type. That yeah, cast iron, as you guys probably know, works a lot better with the heat than just another piece of 1/8 inch mould steel. I just went for a wander. Might be a bit dirty right now, but that one's actually relatively rust-free. Another one going off to the Etsy store, no doubt, in one form or another. Another genuine pre-depression horseshoe. Because there ain't been horses on here since the Depression. Well, except a stupid ass little Shetland pony that was dumped by my uncle by somebody else who couldn't take it with them when they moved out of a rented property. Surprise, surprise, I have water back in the dam. So one sheep's made the attempt to drink it. That's amazing, that is quite surprising. This is all cracked up to the shit out only yesterday. There's a rocky patch here, as I've explained before, so you never really got in to dig that too well. Yeah, good to see. We get a good blast of rain. Pulled up a few more roots of these couple of trees that I had out here. Gangly little things. My sister's got one at her place, and yeah, ended up as firewood, but a bit of rain and all the drip line there sort of exposed the roots a bit more. Isn't that right, little kitty? Hey, grab me pants again. There's something else I just discovered. I can't believe I didn't look all day at all this, but yeah, just watch. Don't know how I tried this shit up, but I left this window down all night long while we had 1 3/8 of rain. Now, somehow the electric window buttons all still work. There's not much water on the floor. But having said that, this fancy model, you can flip this armrest up. You can't do that in the base model. But she got a nice little pocket, and she sort of filled up with water. So, got to try and sponge that out. But just the profile of the vehicle, usually you don't get that much water in the thing, even if you do leave the windows down. And if you do, the size of the holes on that'll actually hold the water tension over it. You know how you got, like, if you've ever looked at a glass that's really full, you can see the sort of the surface tension sort of curl over the edge. Well, the surface tension of water will hold itself between the holes in this and not actually go into the speaker, which is very intelligently designed. But anyway, I continue getting this water out of this blooming sponge. Well, there's one that's ripening. There's the other one you may have already seen that's ripening. Just waiting for a couple of these to start changing colour. And a little one there, another one there. A couple of flowers at the top. And yeah, they all look like they're trying to whack out at least one or two. It's good, really speaking. I just need the seeds, because the other seeds I got were sort of used by, oh shit, when was it? 2012 or something. So that's sort of, you know, it's not just the point of I'm going to have tomatoes to eat, it's more like as I'm going to try and salvage all the damn seeds I can, so I've got a fresh bunch of seeds. And, you know, as I plan to whack in a bunch of silver beet, I've been thinking a little bit about designs to help with the wind. I'm going to get at least half an acre cut off, if not more. The idea is the wind sort of comes from the west, and I'm going to have IBCs down this side and down that side. Now, in effect, they will act as a fence themselves to... Yes, cat. You want to get in the camera. To sort of act as a windbreak in a V shape. But then the rabbits might get in underneath, because there's a bit of a gap between the you know, where the forklift forks go, and there's a bit of a gap. So I'm probably going to go along with chicken wire and string them all together. Saves me, and like put a strip of chicken wire, probably, you know, foot and a half tall, and string it all to the framing of the IBCs, and saves me building an entire proper fence, plus automatically gives me my windbreak and my water storage all on the one hit. And then the back side of that triangle I'm going to have to put in a real fence and a gate to sort of enter it and everything like that. And, you know, I can't guarantee that it works well in the soil. I've been told there's nematodes or something that will stuff things up, but there's nothing to say that I couldn't go back to the old 2.5 gallon bucket and basically use them to make a whole stack of pots, or buy a whole bunch of pots. And, you know, I've already got a fair bit of potting mix around here, and, you know, put in at least a few tomatoes, if not buy more potting mix in bags, which I can get for, oh shit, like I was paying $3 a bag for the stuff. And there's, I'll show you what the bags are like. It's like about 2/3 of a bag still sitting here. And yeah, 25 litres, what's that work out? And well, 3.8 litres in a gallon, so it's about 8 gallons or something like that anyway, 7, 8, something like that, for $3, you know. And that's not from a wholesale, that's just from the supermarket. It's pretty shitty stuff, to be honest. You end up with a couple of wood chips through it, as opposed to proper pine bark is the way it's supposed to be. But anyway, I don't know if I showed you this, but I'll show you something else here. Got a bunch of tubs cleaning the house out. Yeah, I thought it was eight tubs, 50 litres each. So 11.5 gallon each tub. So that'll sort of give me a place to stack a lot of this crap. I got a giant document tub, which is bloody huge. It's 189 litres that the shower runs off. Once or twice the bastard has leaked. It seems to be consistently leaking. So I don't know if it's cracked or it's higher one end than the other, or what the friggin' hell's going on. I got a funny feeling it might be cracked. So that's likely to become another document tub, in that I have got another device which apparently can hook straight into my water line, which is a pressure regulator that just has a solenoid to switch itself on and off, that hooks onto that hot water system. I'm a bit sceptical it's going to work, so I might have to use float valves, which, well, basically I've got a couple from the brother-in-law, the one of which is just out of a toilet system, and it may very well be simply a case of, you know, I can go and get toilet systems for like $40 each. Get one of those, and you got a ball valve hooked up to plumbing and the whole shebang straight up. you know, and if I can't rig up one of the ones I've got, I can just buy a damn toilet cistern and throw the lid off the bloody thing and put the submersible pump inside it, you know, and then just plumb the water directly into the inlet of the toilet cistern. And yeah, you know, it'll basically work anyway when it's all said and done. So yeah, but I'm looking at just using this other box I've got. A shit of a box, like most Coleman things. They stuff up the threads. It's either, you know, it's too short or some blasted thing. Same as this stupid included propane fitting. And I had to use 3 rubber O-rings to get the damn thing to seal, and I mean thick rubber O-rings, because quite honestly, you know, as I said, damn, not enough thread in the bloody thing. And anyway, I got a nice brass fitting on it from memory, I think. I set it all up anyway and got it all threaded up ages back, with the concern that I may need to use it because I was worried about a water pump blowing up. And then I got a second water pump that's still in the box. I've never even tried to use it. Yeah, but it mightn't sort of matter now. But anyway, we'll see if this water pressure thing doesn't restrict the flow too much, but we'll find out.